as automation becomes more prevalent in the workplace, we see a need to put meaning back into people's jobs, whether it's algorithms figuring out which tasks workers should perform, or nudges encouraging workers to behave in a certain way, or data indicating who a worker is and what matters to them. Technology has not only invaded the workplace, but it's also shaping and monitoring individuals' identities at work. So in many ways, technology has leapt ahead of leaders and organizations, and the human element needs to catch up. So to help guide organizations through what we call the reinvention of the social enterprise, we propose a set of principles that frame the human focus for social enterprise and serve as benchmarks against which we can measure any action or business decision that could potentially affect people. Because the paradox of today is that while we live in a world of amazing technology, and it is, right, it will always be human potential that moves us forward.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the point. In a previous talk, we went through the main findings of the 2019 Deloitte Human Capital Trends report. And we discovered that organizations, as you rightly said, must reinvent themselves with a human focus on three fronts. We talked about the workforce, the organization, and HR. So today, we want to delve deeper into the future of the workforce and discuss how organizations should adapt to those forces that are restructuring job and work design, the open talent economy, and leadership. So to start us off, let me ask a very popular question on this topic. It's a common trope we see on LinkedIn and other social media. Are jobs going to disappear because of technology? Are robots going to replace us as a result of AI and robotic process automation?
So our research argues the opposite, actually. What it proposes is that automation, by removing routine work, actually makes jobs more human, enabling the role and contribution of people at work to rise in importance of value rather than reduce. So the value of automation and AI, according to our research, lies not in the ability to replace human labour with machines, but in augmenting the workforce and enabling human work to be reframed in terms of problem solving and the ability to create new knowledge. The term cobot has been coined. So 41% of respondents to our 2019 Global Human Capital Trends survey say that they're using automation extensively or across multiple functions. So it's obviously being well adopted or used very frequently by organizations. But as that usage grows, what we're seeing is that fear or uncertainty around how to use these technologies is growing as well. So only 26% of respondents stated that their organizations were ready or very ready to address the impact of these technologies.
So, okay, but if machines replace humans in doing the routine work, and if jobs are evolving to require new combinations of human skills and capabilities, then this creates a need for organizations to maybe redesign the actual definition of those jobs and even the work processes in order to keep up. Is that right?
We think that's absolutely right. So as machines take over repeatable tasks and the work people do becomes less routine, many jobs will rapidly evolve into what we're starting to call super jobs. So new research shows that the jobs in the highest demand today, those with the fastest acceleration in wages, are so-called hybrid jobs. So what these do is they bring together technical skills, so things like technology operations and data analysis and interpretation. They bring those together with soft skills, so areas like communication, service, and collaboration. So the concept of super jobs, though, takes this shift one stage further.
So what does that mean in terms of taking it further? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So in a super job, technology has not only changed the nature of the skills the job requires, but it has also changed the nature of the work and the job itself. Super jobs require the breadth of technical and soft skills that hybrid jobs do, but they also combine parts of various traditional jobs into roles that leverage the significant productivity and efficiency gains that happen when people work with smart machines, data, and algorithms. So let me give you an example. We were working with a not-for-profit clinic in the US. And they were facing a lot of competition from commercial competitors. And what they decided to do was completely redesign the way in which nurses and doctors operated in the clinic. And instead of them being focused on specific individual health issues, their specialisms, they were encouraged to look at overall holistic patient care. And the result was actually a much better experience, a much better outcome for the patients involved.
So I imagine this is going to have a pretty major impact overall. What, in your view, are some of the organizational or social implications of this potential split between work in super jobs, I love that term, between those workers who move into a super job type of function versus those who are continue to be in that lower skilled service sector, the new traditional job?
Well, some people have talked about the recoding of work as a result of things like super jobs. And it's, of course, a substantial challenge in front of every business and HR leader. And it's really going to take significant changes in thinking and high levels of collaboration across every aspect of the business. So that's IT, finance, and the HR functions. We talked about the symphonic C-suite in our 2018 survey. And it's going to take a deliberate plan to get in front of that challenge. So the advent of super jobs carries with it the potential, though, for societal backlash. The flip side, if you like, of these highly skilled, well-paid jobs is commodity jobs, service jobs, and individual micro tasks. So already some economists, some social commentators are seeing what they're calling a bifurcation of work and jobs into, on the one hand, augmented, complex, well-paid jobs, and on the other, lower wage, lower skilled work across service sectors. And in the face of potential social consequences, business leaders should challenge themselves to reimagine work to meet the needs of all segments of the workforce. I mean, we see it here in the UK. There's, I would argue, a significant geographic split between parts of the country where super jobs are readily available and other parts where they're just not.
I feel like it almost raises the specter of moving from, we currently talk a lot about income inequality to almost job inequality, that if you aren't prepared or upskilling for that new paradigm of a super job, you're going to get left even further behind. Let me switch gears for a second. I'm thinking about all the folks who are watching this right now who are in HR management functions. In terms of brass tacks, what they can do right now, how do they start to reimagine work? What do they need to do back in the office as they think about automation, as they think about augmenting their workforce with robotics, with artificial intelligence?
Well, as an obvious first start, they need to embrace the tools and technologies that both automate work and augment the workforce to increase productivity, enhance value to customers.
So, of course, automation opportunities are everywhere, and I think both employers and employees believe that that's ultimately going to benefit the enterprise and help workers be more productive. One of the things that we're thinking about at Oracle is the importance of starting with a mobile-first AI-based experience and integrating mobile devices with enterprise software. It's a huge driver of our own product development. I'll give you an example. One of the big changes for us in the way we've deployed our product internally, we drink our own champagne, as they like to say, is we're now engaging with the employer. I engage with Oracle when I need to find information conversationally. So with Oracle Digital Assistant, I literally have a phone number in my phone that is my HR department. And it's using AI. I speak into it and I say, I'd like so-and-so's phone number. And it texts me back the phone number. So we're delivering this seamless conversational employee experience, which is what employees want. It's what we want. And we know we want it because that's what we're used to in our personal technology. So I think moving beyond just requesting information, but starting to deliver business processes that are also done conversationally. I think digital assistants are going to play a really big role in humanizing our experiences from the moment we walk into a new job, the entire onboarding experience, which is boring, mundane, stressful, your first couple of days in the office. You should be able to find out what are your benefits, what is your leave policy, where's the ladies' room. You should be able to find all of that out rapidly through an intuitive technology platform instead of relying on your HR representative for these types of mundane questions.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's from an employee perspective.
Yep.
What about the management role in this new context?
So our view is that organizations are starting to challenge their leaders to step up and show their way forward in a lot of these social respects. So, for instance, CEOs are being pressured to take a position on social issues. C-suite executives are being asked to work more collaboratively across functions. So this is the symphonic C-suite that we introduced in 2018. But also line leaders must learn to operate in a network of teams. So our research shows that while organizations expect new leadership capabilities, a lot of organizations are still largely promoting very traditional models and mindsets.
So are you suggesting that organizations are struggling to find and develop what we would call future-ready leaders?
We think so. 80% of our respondents to the survey rated leadership a high priority for their organization. But only 41% told us they think their organization is ready or very ready to meet their leadership requirements. So many respondents believe that organizations have new leadership needs, topics such as inclusion, fairness, social responsibility, understanding the role of automation, and leading in a network of teams were not part of a leadership manifesto a decade ago, let alone 20 years ago. In our survey, we found 3 areas where significant gaps exist within many organizations, and those are transparency, internal collaboration, and performance management.
So you're talking about leadership manifestos from a couple of decades ago. They would have thought all of this stuff was just fluffy.
Yeah.
Nonsense, this extra human stuff. And once again, we're back to this concept of rehumanizing the workforce, the workplace. And once again, I feel strongly that artificial intelligence can help. So Simon, what other trends from the 2019 Deloitte report do we need to be aware of as it concerns the future of the workforce?
Well, one is unquestionably the alternative workforce. So the crowd, contractors, freelance, and gig employees. For many years, people considered the alternative workforce as supplementary to full-time jobs. We work with a lot of clients who use an awful lot of contractors in their workforce, but organizations need to take a more strategic approach to tapping into this important source of talent, we believe. So they should be looking to use innovative approaches that move beyond just managing these people to optimizing and properly leveraging them. They're going to need to create new connections amongst the business, HR, procurement, and IT. It's back to that symphonic C-suite again.
I love it. So Simon, before we wrap up this segment, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Well, we recognize that the reinvention of a social enterprise with a human focus will be a daunting prospect for many organizations. And depending on your organization's readiness and need to change, reinvention can happen in one of any number of ways. You can refresh by updating and improving the way things happen now, or you can rewire by creating new connections that change the strategic direction, or you can completely recode by starting over and designing from scratch. Either way, there are 2 aspects of the reinvention that must remain constant. It's got to involve technology in some way. There's simply no path to reinvention without it. And it must also be a bold enough change to meet the challenges that the social enterprise presents.
Well, I think that's fantastic, Simon, and thanks so much for joining me today. And if you would like to know more about Oracle HCM Cloud Solution, do take the quick tour that you can see now on the screen. This has been the Tomorrow Talks Business Edition. Thank you very much for watching.